Going for first take as usual. This video may or may not be interesting to everybody. It's mostly pertains to a family of mine. The culprit family goes back to the Peters family, and stories have been passed down that are 100% true. In Maine, in Thomaston, Maine, there's Montpelier Hill. It's a mansion it's a reproduction mansion. The mansion was actually a little ways, about maybe a little less than a half mile away, I guess. But the original mansion belonged to Henry Knox, General Henry Knox. He's in the history books. My ancestor on my father's side was, Amos, I think his name was, Amos Peters, and he was a worker for General Henry Knox. He used to be a driver for him. He would drive General Knox to Pennsylvania, where he would go to the White House and meet with George Washington. He was gifted 30 acres of land in Warren, Maine by General Knox. He raised his family there, and it wound up being known to locals years and years later as N-Town. I don't use that derogatory term. I may have a few times in my life out of stupidity, but it was known as N-Town. We'll just call it. It's actually known as Petersboro. To this day, there's a cemetery there, the Petersboro Cemetery. That's my relatives. All black people. My father looks just like somebody that was photographed there. I think it was probably in the 20s, but he is a spitting image of a woman that is standing in the picture from the newspaper clipping. My grandmother was black. She had a glass eye too. She was a party animal, and she used to take her glass eye out and put it in people's drinks as a joke. She would outdance all the young guys. Gwen Culprit. But anyway, in the General Knox Museum, there's a desk also that was gifted to General Knox from George Washington. So they were friends, General Knox and George Washington. And Amos Peters was a friend of General Knox, even though he was a worker. And like I said, he was gifted 30 acres of land in Warren, Maine. Now this mansion's there, and it's all developed. I contacted the Historical Society, and they assured me that the cemetery has been maintained. I was there years ago and visited and took a bunch of pictures and stuff. I've also done my DNA, which confirms I have African American blood in me and Native American blood, and it's probably from that same side of the family. My mother did genealogy on the Miller side and traced it back to people coming over on the Mayflower. But this video is mainly for family or anybody who finds that kind of history interesting, and I wanted to share that. It's friggin' cool. So yeah, to this day there's still a few locals, probably old timers, that call it N-Town. Stupid people. If they did their genealogy, they probably have something in them too, Western Chinese or African American or whatever. People are just ignorant. But I'm making this video mainly for cousins. If you have relations to the Peters family or the Culprit family, then it's just as much your history as it is mine. So there you go.